This is the time of year when a little preparation can go a long way. Mount Mercy University's head coach Andy Dirks has some suggestions for you to help out the talented junior who is college bound and coming into your pro shop. I'm Andrew Pfeffer. I'm the creator, producer, and host of Bowling with the Pfeff, and this is Hot Topics. And Mr. Dirks has a lot to prepare for in the weeks ahead. You've got league bowlers coming into his shop and at May City Lanes, as well as a college season to look forward to. Andy, welcome to Hot Topics.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Appreciate your time. Let's kind of start out with this question about pro shop operators and how they can help prepare high school bowlers and juniors to make that transition into college. It's not as simple as it might seem, is it?
I think it can be simple, but I think sometimes you can also overcomplicate things. The big thing that I run into with kids coming into the program, new freshmen, is multiple bowling balls that aren't drilled the same way with the same fit. Different pitches, different spans. So sometimes it is they go to another shop, but they change the way they drilled it and they don't have their other stuff updated to match. They don't know they're supposed to. I think, just having more open communication with the athletes about how important it is to have them all the same. It's very common. A lot of pro shops have different types of fitting techniques or maybe even different philosophies on how they should fit. Things like that. And you can get used to lots of fits, but it's really, really hard to repeat if they don't fit the same way. And so I would say that's one of the biggest challenges that we have with new players coming in. It's just multiple bowling balls that aren't the same. And then I think another one is, when you have an athlete that's a passionate high school bowler that wants to kind of go to the next level, I think if you have time, shops get busy and all that, but if you have time, really try to take them under your wing and educate a little bit on surface maintenance and changing inserts. It seems so simple, but such an important part of just having a true feel that's good every time. Changing their tape. It's amazing how many times I have somebody come in and the tape in the thumb hole is black. And it wasn't black to begin with, not the black tape, the white tape that turns black because it just stays in there for 6 months. Somebody told me to use tape. Nobody ever told them to change the tape. So little things like that, you'd be surprised that you take for granted. If you've been bowling a long time and you've been competing at a high level or coaching at a high level, you sort of take for granted that these things are just known. And somebody comes in the shop and buys tape, do they know where to put it? Do they know how to use it? Do they know how often to change it? Same with surfaces. If I have a ball at 2000 grit Abralon, how long does it really stay there? And so, you have people that come in and it's pretty common. Well, I got this, I'll just use an example, Gem, one of the really early strong ball with a lot of surface, and they've never touched it. They bought it a year and a half ago and they've never done anything to the surface. They've just let it shine up. And they wonder why it doesn't perform the same way or doesn't perform consistently. And so, taking the time with those kids to just explain how it works and understanding to use it and let them not be afraid of it. I think another thing that we do as pro shops is I'll take care of it, even the ones that do update the surface. Yes, of course, we all make money from resurfaced bowling balls, and those are good services to have. But I think teaching kids and young people to not be afraid to touch their ball, you're not going to ruin it. You're not going to ruin the bowling ball by going too much or too little. We can bring it back. We can save it, right? So I think a lot of times it's just the courage to do it is what people need. So those are things I think would be really helpful.
Man, where were you when I was in high school? I could have used some of that advice.
Me too. 100%. That's why I do this.
Yeah. Well, you've got a whole crop of league bowlers coming into your center, and this week is really the start of the new league season for most. How do you go about helping league bowlers be as prepared as they can be for this new season?
I think honestly, some of the same things that I think would help young people be more ready for the next step. inserts are a big thing that I think is such a simple maintenance thing to do. How many times you see a bowling ball come in and the inserts are pulled away from the edges and they're like hard and crusty because they've been in there forever and been through sunlight and winter and back and forth. And so little things like that, encouraging to come in and get, we call it a tune up, but basically it's a full resurface, detox, new inserts. And we pull their tape out, make sure the hole's clean, all the little sticky stuff's out of the holes. Just start fresh with those surface adjustments. That's probably the biggest thing. And then let's make sure that that there isn't a ball that's gotten tired. How many times have we done a tune-up on this ball? Maybe it's time to not spend the money on that and think about investing in a new ball, because reactive bowling balls, as we know, aren't like a fine wine. They don't get better with age. So, so sometimes, that's where we put not the salesman shoes on necessarily. I feel it as a service. Like, you're going to perform better. New ball carry is a real thing. And, you're going to be happier with your scores. You're going to be happier in league. And the happier they are, the more they come back, the more our centers stay open, and the more our pro shops stay open.
Okay.
So I think, making sure they keep their stuff maintained. And then something that we do a lot, especially with the college players and seasoned veterans kind of that have been bowling for a really long time, you don't need to do this probably as often because they don't change as much. But just because you got a PAP in 2012 does not mean that customer who's been coming to you for a long time has the same PAP. Watch them bowl. Like, take a little time, go out there, watch them throw the shot, see if their speed's dropped. We get a lot of older bowlers that as they age, their speed continues to drop, and you have to start to recommend different things for them. Maybe it's weaker core bowling balls. Maybe it's something a little cleaner cover to help it push through the front. Maybe it's a lighter weight. And without watching them bowling and really knowing your customer, it's hard to really advise them appropriately on those things.
Yeah, good points, all of them. So, as you mentioned, you're the head coach at Mount Mercy, a perennial powerhouse in the college landscape. So what do these next several weeks and maybe month or two look like for you as you prepare for a new college season?
Well, what made me think of making sure all the balls are the same is I have a bench full of plug bowling balls right now. So that's one of the first things we're doing. We just had our first practice today, and we had trials over the weekend and finished those up. So that's when you start to see like sores pop up and things like that with the new players that haven't been in the program yet. And you're like, oh, let's figure this out. So we start doing fit checks and realizing, well, this ball is different than this ball and different than this ball. And so that's our first step, is let's get them to match. And then let's find the optimal fit for you, for your performance. So we'll do a lot of that, a lot of little tweaks here and there. Obviously, it's training, getting really big into fundamentals. And I think the early part of the season is really intentional culture building, team building, really getting people to know each other, trust each other, communicate with intent, like how we compete together, how we read the lanes together, and understanding where you play compared to your teammates, like where you slide differently than them. For somebody with a higher rev rate, lower rev rate, you can still line up together. You just have to be aware of where they are when they're striking and where you need to be close. Right. Okay. So that's kind of how we start our season, is a lot of those things, team building. And then of course the normal busy work of fundraising and, paying the entry fees and booking all the hotels. And I'm pretty on the ball on that stuff. I have most of that basically done already, but so yeah, those are the big parts of the start of the season.
Yeah.
And then, we try to ramp our season so that we have like fundamentals and skill sets and spares and all those things that we need to do to build up. And we try to peak in March and April. That's the goal. We try to ramp the season up and be super ready for March and April. And everything before that is growth and learning and getting ready for that.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, best of luck to you and your team and your business as you approach this new league season. And always appreciate the time, of course, here on Hot Topics. And if you're looking for more information on Ipsia or interested in becoming a member, just go to our website, ipsia.com. You'll find all the information you need there. And if you liked what you saw here, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel. It is the easiest way to help us continue to make great bowling content.